But I took this idea as something that I've been doing for a number of years in another department before I moved down here. But this is something that's kind of important to everybody. You hear about the crashes in the area, the distracted driving, impaired driving. We have such a great drama department here at the school. I thought, let's get it right here on campus. Show you folks exactly what the reality is. This is gonna be almost a live run with shortened version of what actually happens if there is an accident, if there is something going on and you might be involved, all right? You're gonna see responding apparatus, you're gonna see EMS. There's a possibility of a helicopter, okay? All things are hidden. You're gonna have legal people here. It's gonna be showing the gamut what the consequences could be as well. This is gonna be reality for you. You can't get closer than this. This is live action, all right? Give me 1 second to make a call. I'll be right back. Microphone, what's gonna go on? This is as if you were having a joyride on or off to prom, off to work. This is gonna be what it's gonna be like.
Someone hit us head on. My friends they're unconscious. There's 2 major injuries. Me and my other friend are slightly injured. The hood is gone.
Okay. Alright. Are they conscious?
No. I don't know.
Okay, what kind of vehicles are involved?
An SUV, and a truck.
An SUV and a truck?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, you're at 42 Merritt Road in front of the South Glens Falls School?
Yes!
Okay, alright, we're gonna get help started your way, okay?
Okay, thank you.
South Glens Falls Fire, Monroe EMS, available, Sheriff's Patrols, New York State Police, 42 Merritt Road in front of the South Glens Falls School. Report of a motor vehicle accident with serious injury, head on.
This time delay you're hearing is actual. You have to remember, everybody in this community is a volunteer. We are all now leaving our work, our homes, to respond to the firehouse, to respond to the fire EMS. It takes time.
Car 5-8.
5-8's en route.
Car 5-8 en route, TAC 90, helicopters being started.
This silence is exactly what happens. Time is going to slow down for you when this happens. It's going to feel like forever.
EMS 5851.
EMS 5851.
5851's en route.
5851 en route 937, multiple patients reported to be serious injuries.
This is why it's also important when you see us coming with blue lights on to move out of the way.
Fire count 58-0.
If you're driving, they're on their way to an emergency for something possible
You're
like
en route
this.
938, copy the update.
I copy the update, thank you.
EMS 5864. EMS 5864.
Hey, Mel, can copy the update.
Show you en route 938. Sorry, 602. South Glens Falls, 602. 602, near route 42 Merritt Road. 602 and route 938. On Firecom 601. You can show 601 en route to Logical. 601 en route 938. EMS 5854. EMS 5854.
Now you're gonna have
Responding to 42 Merritt Road.
you have chiefs responding on scene. You're gonna have police on scene. You're gonna have everybody responding in different directions. We come from different stations. We come from different areas.
Firecom 58. Show car 58 arriving. 58 arriving 939. Confirming 2 car, head on, with in front of his clearance CI. 2 car, head on, truck, clearance CI, 939. Head on. We're going to be making the left in there now, requesting orders. 602, pull behind the white vehicle. Gonna need your cutters, spreaders, and a hose line pull using dry leg. Great, cutters, spreaders, dry leg pulls behind the white vehicle. And traffic on the white vehicle, passenger side, front door and rear door. 58601, arriving, pressing orders. 601, you're going to stay for the helicopter, the end of the driveway. Have your manpower respond up to the scene. Copy that.
So now you see they're gonna disembark the vehicles, start pulling our tools off, making sure that our scene is secure. You'll see down here, one chief has blocked the road off down there, so no more traffic can come through. You're gonna see him pull a hose line in case there's a fire. The cutters and tools are hydraulic on the truck, all powered by the truck. And this begins the process of trying to disentangle the patients from the vehicles. While it's going on, you also see that the PD has already come over here. Law enforcement has started their process for their investigation. In order to stop any more injuries, the vehicles are stabilized.
5864.
You'll see that we've got one of our members getting inside the car to get the patients to the back out, making sure that they're fully covered so none of the debris gets on them.
Firecom 58. Firecom car 58. EMS requesting helicopter to the scene, please. Receive. Helicopter to the scene, 943.
you guys can't hear it very well, but each of those members is talking inside to those people what they're doing. You guys are already going to be in a panic state. We try to give you as much information as we can to try to calm you as much as possible, to give you as much warning what's going on.
Fire count, fire 5-8.
Fire count.
Extrication beginning.
Starting extrication 944.
As you see, EMS has arrived. They're starting to do their evaluations on the patients while they're even in the car. You've got law enforcement continuing their investigation over here.
Flight 972 around 10 minutes away.
5-8 copy, I'm making ETA.
All right, so you heard that Light Flight is trying to make an attempt to get here. We'll see if they make it all the way. You have to understand, these helicopters come from different distances away. They're a great resource and utility for us to get patients to the trauma centers faster, but of course we know weather plays a factor. And there's only a certain number of helicopters and they're stationed at certain places. Even though they're far away, they make it faster to get to the hospital. So things can happen between here and there as well. Something else to think about while you're watching this operation go on. How many cars are on the road? How many different models, how many different years? We have to train on different vehicles, different types of things, different situations with different tools and different cutters because each of them is different. Each of them has different safety standards. Things that are built into these cars are meant to keep you safe, also prevent us from getting in there to get to you as well. The crumple zones help you guys, but they complicate things for us. What's the easiest way to get you guys out of these cars? Not to have you guys get in accidents, and that's why we're doing this today. If you guys don't get into collisions, and this doesn't happen on your fault, then that's why we're doing this today, to prevent this. Now, we also know that there are things that happen for certain reasons, and that's why we train, and that's why we're prepared for this. But you're seeing, things take time, even while this is set up. Change these conditions to while we're in the middle of the night, or it's snowing, or it's rain. All this operation gets complicated by each of those factors. And the reality part of it is right now inside these cars are your classmates. Worse yet, it could be your family. And it may not be their fault. There's nothing saying that anybody in that car, that white car, did anything wrong here today. Perfectly innocent, enjoying their evening. And they're the ones getting cut out of the car. They're the ones that are injured for no fault of their own, except for trying to go to a prom, or have a good time, or going to work. As you see, they removed the front passenger door so far. They're working to get the post out of the way. We call it a B post, try to get that door, other door and roll that right down out of the way so we don't open the whole side of the car up. Wait, break the doors? Because that's how they're impinged or crumpled together. You mean the glass? You mean it has like that glass? Because not all the time like that. Or like these electric vehicles nowadays, the battery dies, you can't unlock them. Alright, so we train, and in this scenario right now, that car is smashed when we're able to door. Some doors we can't open. There's all kinds of various things. We're demonstrating today what it takes, how long it takes, to much more serious crash than this. Trust me, if we can open doors, we're going to open doors and get people as fast as we can.
Extrication complete.
Extrication complete. 950.
Now the role of the fire company has changed a little bit. We've cut the car open, we've allowed EMS better access to get in there. We also now transition to helping the EMS get the patient's package and get them delivered to the hospital for care. So right here we have our EMS supervisor on scene right now. He's the one running it. What do we have for a life status on these patients?
We have one fatality, which is the driver of the white Lincoln. We have a driver with possible alcohol on his breath. He just had superficial wounds with the glass shards. He was taken care of. Now he's getting ready to be field tested when the state troopers and the sheriffs are ready.
All right, so our EMS has said we've got one fatality. Obviously, we've got one serious PI. The most serious injuries go to Albany Med from here. That's the closest level 1 trauma center.
Firecom 5-8.
Firecom 5-8.
ETA helicopter.
Stand by. Firecom 5-8. 4-1-8.
4-8.
All right, so you see that the cutting has happened. Patients are getting delivered. We are waiting still on the helicopter, right? Well, it hasn't arrived yet. Process still happening over here for your fellow classmate who's going to begin the legal process and going through the sobriety check. This is all documented. It's all by expert, trained people in the specialty of doing this. This begins the legal process and the ramifications for the penalties that have come from this and the whole legal process. Unfortunately, you still see what's in the car? Well, we need certain officials to pronounce that. All right? We still have to turn around and deal with a patient that's no longer viable.
Firecom South 112 to command back 90.
Command on.
The helicopter reached turn declining due to weather.
5-8 copy.
There we have it.
5-8, we're out to Albany, Mass.
North Albany, Mass. 959.
So unfortunately, the helicopter was trying to make it here. Got to a spot. The ceiling came down too much. They couldn't get over the ridge. Now that ambulance with your serious injured patient now has to drive all the way to Albany to get the proper care that is needed to help them recover. All right. That's the unfortunate part of what happens with what we do.
Right now, as you see, the trooper is giving a field sobriety test. This test is called the horizontal gaze nystagmus. So he's checking the eyes. So if you are intoxicated and maybe you have a high tolerance for alcohol, you can train yourself to walk a straight line, maybe not fall off balance, maybe you're well coordinated. However, if you have alcohol in your system, you cannot control your eyes. Your eyes will have a nystagmus, involuntary movement, right? So instead of have a smooth pursuit, if you're sober, and I put a pen in front of your eyes to tell you to focus, and I do this, you're going to be able to focus, right? Your head's not going to move, and your pupils are not going to flutter. If you're intoxicated, they're going to flutter. You can't control it, you don't know you're doing it, and it's a good way for us to tell whether you're impaired. Police officers who are very, very skilled in this can actually get pretty close to somebody's BAC, their blood alcohol content, how intoxicated they are, just by the movements of the eyeballs.
All the way to get to 9. While conducting this test, you keep your eyes looking down at your seat, head out loud, steps, arms by your side. Once you start, do not stop. You understand? Begin.
Copy 4-1, 327. 3
Yeah, 5-8, 4-1.
Yeah, it's 5851.
5-1 around Albany, Mass.
5851 and North Albany, Mass. 1002.
Alright. The next test I'm going to have you do, again, you have no issues with your knees or ankles. Alright, step forward a little bit for me. You're going to stand your feet together, heel to heel, toe to toe, arms by your side. Alright, don't move until I tell you to make your begin. Alright, when I tell you to, you're going to raise your 7 foot 6 inches and approximately 6 inches off the ground. Your foot's going to be parallel to the ground by pointing your toes. Your eyes are going to be looking down at your elevated foot. Both legs straight. While holding this position, you're count around by 1,000. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, so on and so forth until I tell you to stop. You understand this? You good? Sure. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Begin.
1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000, 9 1,000, 10 1,000, 11 1,000, 12 1,000, 13 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 16 1,000, 17 1,000.
Stop. Alright, then I got one more test for you. Okay, it's a pretty easy test. I'm going to ask you to stand with your feet together, heel to heel, toe to toe, arms by your side like this. Alright, thanks, man. Alright, so there's going to be 3 instructions. The first 2 instructions I'm going to give, the third instruction you give. Understand? Alright, so the first thing, I'm going to put you in the correct position. I'm going to ask you to tilt your head back and keep your eyes closed. I'll give you that instruction. The next instruction, I'm going to say the word begin. When I say begin, you're going to estimate the passage of 30 seconds inside your head. However you get to 30, you can't count out loud. You understand? The last instruction's on you. If you think 30 seconds is passed, you're going to tell me, you're going to lift your head forward and tell me to stop. Do you understand? Yes. Alright. So, first instruction, tilt your head back, close those eyes.
1004.
Second instruction, begin.
test looks pretty involved, huh? Well, for legal reasons, it has to go through all these different steps. It's going to turn around and test all those things, see how he performs, and it's all documented.
What was the third instruction? You don't remember? So how long do you think that was?
Meanwhile, you see, while that's going on, they disentangled the last patient, the fatality. Now we have to wait for the coroner and the funeral home to come.
Yeah, man.
The body will be taken to the hospital for an autopsy, and then processed by the funeral home. Because it's a fatality, you're going to have more legal people coming in here. The assistant district attorney will come out. You'll have investigation crews with surveys. All this will be marked. This road will be shut down for quite a while because it has to go through the process of the investigation to either find fault in whatever happened, and it goes towards the legal case towards the offending people. You've all seen YouTube, you've seen the TikToks, you've seen everything. This is stuff he's behaving quite mildly. They can be very combative. And law enforcement is trained to try to handle that. You're not in your right mind when you're impaired. And this begins a very long road for that person, not only mentally, but also monetarily, and the ramifications that come from the actions. So, as this continues to go on, the investigators are coming out, they'll mark the pavement. We're still waiting to get the funeral home here to transfer the body. We're trying to turn around, make sure the scene is secured and cleaned up. We are waiting for tow agencies. We have to make sure when the scene is clear from the investigation that the road can be reopened. The police are involved. We have fire police from our fire companies, EMS on standby. All these people are tied up right now for this call. Now the offending driver is going to be taken to the police barracks and get processed. Then there'll be an arraignment and things like that, but the ADA will get all involved with all that stuff. So. We'll start our equipment on the fire company side. We'll start replacing the equipment back on the truck, getting it right back to go in service for when the next call comes. This is not the ride that he expected to take tonight. Pretty powerful, huh?
Yep.
You want to make it more powerful?
Sure.
On that stretcher is my middle son. And I never want to see that and deal with that. These guys right here are my brotherhood. They don't want to have to deal with it too. This is one of the reasons why we do this program. This is why we're volunteering our time. So we don't have to see any of our family members do that for real. We don't want to see our friends have to do that for real. That's why we're showing you this realistic demonstration today. That's why we're trying to make this powerful. We're all volunteers here to volunteering to help show you the consequences of misactions and bad decisions. I'm going to bring up ADA, Matt Casio. This is the person that's involved with the prosecution and begins the legal process through the court system for what has to happen here.
Morning, folks. So as the introduction went, I'm Matt Casio. I'm the Vehicular Crimes Bureau Chief. So what you saw this morning, what they see at night, what they see in the morning, what they see during the day, I get called out to and I come to. So I stand alongside all these folks here and I start to process what it is that we have in terms of a crime. So that when that young man who's drunk on the side of the road or who's high, who's impaired, goes back, I then have to start making these decisions at the side of the road about what to charge him with. How his life gets changed. How their life gets changed. How everyone who's seen this, how their lives are changed. Because once this scene is cleared, this doesn't end. It doesn't end for the driver involved. It doesn't end for the families of the people involved. It doesn't end for everyone who's witnessed it. These men and women who are here doing this, they take this home with them. I take this home with me. The trooper who was here, the sheriff's deputy, the coroner, members of EMS, they all see this. They take it home. And they live with it. Because later on, this young man's going to be brought before a court, and he's going to have some very serious charges levied against him. Charges that will affect him for the rest of his life. Charges that will likely send him to state prison. And there will come a point in time when he'll be released from state prison. But the families of those who are impacted by this, their term won't end. They will remember this. Chief LaPointe talked about his middle son being on that gurney. My brother doesn't talk about his high school graduation because his best friend the night before graduation wrapped his car around a tree. They took him off life support as they finished walking across the stage. He graduated 30 years ago from high school. Not once has he ever talked about his high school graduation. About a year ago, just about a year ago, I stood on the side of the road the day after Lansingburg's graduation with a car that had flown over 200 feet in the air and a dead girl in a ditch because the driver and his passenger, who were smoking marijuana, driving over 100 miles an hour, hit a curb too fast and that vehicle went airborne. They were belted in. She was unsecured. That car flew, rolled, hit the ground. Can you imagine for the second that that car was in the air, what that girl must have felt like? What she must have been going through? Because she didn't die there. She died once she got out of the car. The fear that she must have felt. And that family's been given a life sentence. So we ask you that if it's not for yourself, for your entire family, for everyone who's going to be involved in this, for everyone who has to be here today and to see this, that you think about it.
I wanted to hear an altercation.
Because I will tell you right now, the charges that are coming for this man, at the very least, is a DWI. That's the least of his worries. Struck and killed someone, caused serious physical injury to another. Assuming that he is impaired or intoxicated by alcohol and a narcotic, he is looking at aggravated vehicular homicide, which is a Class C felony. A Class C felony has a mandatory jail sentence of 5 to 15 years in a New York State correctional facility. While I'm standing here, I count at least 15 charges that I would file against him, ranging from misdemeanors all the way up to C felonies. Again, his life will go on. He'll be forever changed by it. But the families of those involved, those who are involved on scene, who have to pull children out of cars, their lives are forever changed as a result. And it will never end for them, as it never does for any of the families that I have ever met in the almost 20 years that I have been doing this job. You are privileged to be able here to watch this happen and to see something that resonates with you, so that one time you either don't put yourself in the driver's seat of that vehicle, or you keep someone from getting in the driver's seat of that vehicle. That is your homework assignment going forward. That is your mission. Because we are not with you every day, every morning, every night. We are here to impress upon you somewhere, sometime, you'll be faced with a choice, an opportunity. Please, for everyone involved, least of all you, make the right choice.
Thank you. Does that resonate with you guys now?
429-623.
Your mission is to leave here and think about this anytime you get into a vehicle, anytime you get into a situation with peer pressure. You'll have choices through your life to make it, whether you get into the vehicle, like you said, or prevent somebody else. Because we saw today here, the driver of this vehicle is able to walk away. The innocent ones are the ones that are lost. But you might also have the choice to get into a vehicle with somebody that's impaired. That choice is for you to turn around and not get into it, and not become the victim yourself. We have Ubers, we have Lyfts, we have friends, you have texting. A different ride can save your life. But we hope that you all don't get yourselves impaired and get into a vehicle and be the cause of all of this. Once again, we all volunteer to do this because it's important to us. We all can tell stories of different scenes that we've seen. Because I do fire prevention, I want to prevent fires. We're here today to prevent this. We are trying to put ourselves out of jobs so that you guys can survive.
So I just want to take a moment, first of all, to thank everybody for coming out today and for volunteering for this activity for our students. And again, I know that this is all make-believe, right? But every time somebody has said to me, well, I know, I drive better, I pay more attention, you don't. Okay, that's just a lie. And nobody ever plans to get into an accident. That's not anybody's ever intent. So I do, again, I appreciate, thank you so much. Thank you to the teachers that come out. And I'd like to have my actors and actresses come on out and take a bow. And let's give everybody a warm, round of applause for everything that they did today. And the makeup is amazing. They did a great job. So take a bow, everybody.
Yes, come on.
All right, so teachers, you can take your students back to their Block 2 class, I believe, is 10:22. We still have a little bit of time. Please remember that there are classes that are still going on, so please be quiet as you kind of walk through the hallways. Thank you.